What's up, everyone? I'm coming to you from the road. I have a new mentality. I'm recording anywhere and everywhere because life has been so crazy, but I want to start pumping out videos and helping people out. So I'm going to record whenever I can. So right now I'm driving, but there's an important topic I want to talk about. But before I get started, if you're new to the channel, what's up, guys? I'm Kevin. Please subscribe, follow along, and also to anyone watching, if you get anything out of this video, please smash that like button. As you guys know, it's so important for the YouTube algorithms. All right, so today's topic is schooling. When your child is young, what do you do regarding schooling? And I got a specific question from one parent regarding my child is nonverbal and they're about to start school. What do I do? And then what do I do about COVID, which I'll save for the very end because that's very different for everyone. So our journey, and I can only talk about our journey because I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, but I can just tell you about our insane journey the past 10 years with Jaiden. Very funny because how this works. God works in funny ways. So we started originally, Maddie is a researcher, so she threw herself into everything autism and started homeschooling Jaiden at the age of 3, right? Researched everything, tried to do it her own, and mind you, we were told that Jaiden was pretty much going to be nonverbal, and because of a long seizure, his brain was fried. And now that I'm older, I almost want to say that doctor was trying to tell us, your son is this, he's probably always going to be this, but I can't really tell you that. But I'm going to try to tell you in layman's term, his brain is fried from the seizure. And I appreciate that now years later. That's always stuck with me. And that's okay, because Jay is who he is. Now back to how our story went. Maddie tried homeschooling, lasted 2 months, completely stressed. But then we also had a young Sebastian. So having a young child makes that option to me very, very hard and very stressful. Now, if you don't have any other kids, homeschooling at a young age is very doable. A lot of responsibility, but doable. Our second option was we jumped into public school. That lasted a week, guys. That was a no-brainer. That's not going to work. Phone calls out the wazoo. Your child's acting up way too much for us and our situation. Even with a an aide at the public schools, even though he was in the special needs classroom, his behaviors were too much. At that point, he was screaming 100 to 200 times a day. So that wasn't going to work. Then we took him to the big special needs school, the best one in our county. And this school is amazing, guys. But it was for anyone under the umbrella of special needs, right? Who has been diagnosed with the special needs. Awesome school. But I went once. Maddie went a couple times. I went once, sat in a circle with all these other parents. All these kids had different diagnoses. And I realized right away my parental instincts told me, this is not for my son. This school's awesome. They had a gym, they did field trips, they did all these things, but at that age, Jaiden wasn't going to get the ABA, the one-on-one, all the stuff we at least wanted to try and hope for growth and development with him. So that school probably lasted 2 weeks. And to this day, we still know the director, and they're awesome. But not for our son, because he's nonverbal, lower functioning, didn't match up. So now we jump to our third school. This is a specific autism school that took the Ohio scholarship, and they bust. So we thought we were in, we were good. This lasted about 3 years. Why did we get out of it? Well, seasons come and you learn more and more about your kid, and then you also get more educated as time goes on. Long story short, great school, but as Jaiden grew, he wasn't developing as fast as the other kids. Again, kind of going back to the doctor saying, his brain's fried, right? Like I almost feel like that was a sign from him. Just be prepared. Be prepared to have him in a certain setting. So that for me always stuck with me. And I never looked at it as negative. It's just, it is what it is. The seizure was what it was, right? Not Jaiden's fault. So as the other kids developed and grew with their development, Jaiden was getting left behind. And as he got older, he started to get into bigger groups, which takes me back to something that does not match with Jaiden. So after about 3 years at that school, we thanked them, we said goodbye. And that's when we actually got up and moved about 30 to 40 minutes to our next school, which was tiny. Itty bitty tiny school with about 13 people, 13 kids, and there was one-on-one text for everyone, right? Awesome. And then ABA all day long in a way, in different ways. But this is what we always wanted. This is gonna work, right? So till this day, years later, Jay's still in this school. And we love them, they're like family. The turnover, unfortunately, is very high with the techs because the burnout rate. Some of them develop and get higher education and move on. And that's something you parents have to understand. That's no one's fault either, right? It's a tough job taking care of a handful of lower functioning kids with severe behaviors. But then also you're trying to advance with your education, so it's not a permanent thing. So I've never taken that personally at this school with high turnover, just normal. That's what I've learned in the autism community with severe autism schools. So now we're at where we're at. Jay's 14, the pandemic hits, and he was struggling with school. He did not like going to school in the morning, or he'd have meltdowns when we picked him up, and it was very stressful. So then the pandemic comes, and he stays home. And what happens right away? Just like any other kid, he's happy to be home, but he's really happy. Like meltdowns and random tick behaviors dissipate or disappear by, I'd say, 75%. So for us and himself, the anxiety and the stress in our household across the board just dropped. All because our son was home. And mind you, he's 14 now. How much more is Jaiden gonna learn? Probably not too much. At this point, our central focus is on life skills. Because we've done all that. We've done the trial and error. We've done all the ABA. And we realized Jaiden's never really going to learn a lot of those things, right? Some things have stuck and some things have worked that he'll forever have in his head. But Jay has a ceiling. And we've tried it all, right? So as parents, we have no regrets. So school starts back up. Guess what happens? The meltdowns start right back up. The morning meltdowns, just getting up in the morning, were hard. He's itching, he's scratching. His anxiety and stress is so bad because he doesn't want to go back to school. Now you can argue, well, that's just any kid's gonna not want to go to school, but since he can't talk, that's what he does. Well, yeah, that might be true, guys, but because Jaiden has so many behaviors that stem and ripple from this, we don't care. If he's having major meltdowns that affect him and us and our 9-year-old, there's way more to this picture, right? It's a little more complicated than just saying, well, he's a teenager, he doesn't want to go to school. You got to make him go to school. No, I don't agree with that. That's just my personal opinion. So we tried this for a couple months. Morning meltdowns in the parking lot, hurting techs, kicking our car, kicking the back window, almost broke my car window. Lots of meltdowns, lots of stress. That's 5 trips a day times 2 drop-offs. That's 10 situations where he can have meltdowns. And we realized, Maddie and I, that this is not worth it anymore. It's not worth the stress. It's better to just have him home, do an online homeschool program, get the certification stuff from the state, what needs to be done, and Maddie has joined a Facebook group. So we are in the process of getting Jay officially homeschooled. We got all these apps, these amazing tech apps that have changed everything to keep him busy. But then we also got a lot of life skills stuff. And he's just happier. He's less stressed, guys. And I can't say enough how much that means to us. Because it's so hard to watch your son be that anxiety-filled and filled that much with also anger from hating school that much. And he can't really tell us because he's nonverbal. So that's where we're at. We're right back where we started over a decade later. So I want you guys to think about that as younger parents. Try everything you can. Exhaust every option. My God, give your child the best opportunity for success so you can sleep soundly at night. That was always our mentality, is go above and beyond. We even moved for him, and then now we moved back to the county that we loved because they have great services for him. But now we're doing homeschool, just like back when he was 3 years old, pretty much. So think about that for a second. Pretty crazy, right? So for parents starting, it's hard to give you one specific advice, because look what we did. We were in the same boat. We were totally overwhelmed and jittered and confused. That's normal, guys. And I almost compare it to like your first kid compared to your third kid. Your first kid, you worry and you're overthinking everything, but then by your third kid, you're like, I got this. I feel like with Jaiden, we're in the third kid phase now with his age. That's probably the best example I can give, is we've tried it all. We don't really care anymore. We love Jaiden. We're going to take care of him the rest of his life. And if he can pick up some life skills, awesome, right? Because he's awesome to have around the house. We keep him busy doing things, and that's really all that matters, because the amount of stress in the house and safety precautions has gone way down. He was breaking lots of things, hurting us with his behaviors, and again, he was just that unhappy. So that's our story regarding how to pick the proper school for your child. It's not an easy answer. That's why I'm on 11 minutes of talking here, because this is a very complex situation and every child's different. But the main thing I think you need to do is trial and error. Trial and error. Don't feel guilty pulling your kid out of something, especially at a young age. They're not going to care. Kids are resilient. They'll adapt. They'll change. If you don't feel right, pull them out, right? You have the control as the parent. You choose the IEP, what's in there. You have a lot more control than you think, parents. And then the last part is COVID. I cannot tell you what to do with COVID because we're all so different. But if you don't want to take your kid or put your child back into school or put him in school right now because of what's going on in the world, then don't do it. If your instincts is telling you no, then don't do it. If you're okay, do it. I think it's that simple. I can't really tell you what to do on that. That's something you have to worry about. But if you are going to put your child back in school, understand it's going to be unpredictable. Jaiden, some days will have school, some days he won't. The school might close down for a week, it might reopen. It's going to be very unpredictable and unstable. So if you do that, have that mentality and be ready for a roller coaster ride. And if you're okay with that, then God bless you. All right? So that is our journey on how to pick a school for your child. And people with neurotypical kids worry about some of the most minute little things, right? So I hope this has helped. I'm sorry it went on for almost 13 minutes, but I do think this is a very big topic for younger parents starting this journey of picking the proper school. All right? Again, if you guys have gotten anything from this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I love you guys for sticking around for this long. Leave comments below. Let me know what you've tried. Try to help other parents with your comments. Give advice, give tips. This is a community. Input is always, always welcomed. All right, guys, from the road. See you next time.